this video, I'm going to pit the top 5 large language models against each other and have them square off to see which one deserves to be my daily AI assistant. So a couple ways that we're going to kind of grade these systems. There's really like 5 main points for a total of 100 points. So the first one is just going to be accuracy and fidelity to instructions, meaning is it giving me accurate information? It's not hallucinating too much. The next thing is usefulness and actionability. What I want to see from these AIs is I want to see them give me information that is true, yes, but also useful. And I also want to see it give me actionable items that I can actually take and use that information for in the real world. Speed to first useful draft. So this just means how long does it take for it to get from us starting the conversation to kind of that end result. The fourth thing is just UX, UI, and control. How do I like the setup of the chatbots? How do I like how they work? And then the last one is the in-session memory. And I want to see how much it kind of uses that in-session memory that to build upon as we continue chatting with the AI. So the first task that we're going to have our AI assistants complete is actually becoming a YouTube title engineer for this video that we're creating right now. So I'm going to paste into it a prompt that I created here and I'll read it to you. And it says, you are my YouTube title engineer. Video topic, testing 5 top large language models to pick a single daily driver assistant for everyday tasks. Give me 12 title options and 3 styles for each: curiosity, benefit, and contrarian. Keep reading, level simple, no M dashes, under 65 characters where possible. Maintain my brand voice, which is direct, specific, a little playful, and avoid hype, and include at least 2 with a specific number. Return as a numbered list. All of them very quickly gave us answers. You can see they're all already done, gave us a list. So what I always do and what I find to be best for any AI agent you're using, a little pro tip here, is to always have them reiterate on themselves. Let's go ahead and rate these. ChatGPT 5, in terms of accuracy and fidelity to instructions, I didn't ask it to separate which ones were which, but it did give me the different styles and stuff. I'm gonna give it a 25 out of 30. And usefulness and actionability, I actually don't think that the titles were as good as some of the others. I'm gonna give it a 15 out of 25. Speed to first useful draft, we're gonna give it a 20 out of 20 for speed. In terms of UX and control, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 15 because UX to me is also how the responses look. And I will say I don't love how this looks compared to how like Gemini gave it to me, Claude gave it to me, even Grok on the second chance when I asked it. In session memory, it remembered even from the first one not to use M dashes. We're just gonna say 10 out of 10 for that. So in terms of Claude, accuracy and fidelity to instructions, it did a great job in my opinion, because not only did it give me 4 under each of the 3 styles, it also split them up so it looks great for the UX and stuff. I think I gotta give it a 30 out of 30. In terms of usefulness and actionability, I think Claude probably gave the best result. I gotta give it a 25 out of 25 and a 20 out of 20 for the speed. UX and control, I also gotta say I gotta give it a 15 out of 15. In session memory, 10 out of 10. Gemini, first one, accuracy and fidelity to instructions, 30 out of 30 for that. So we're gonna say for usefulness and actionability, so I'm going to give it a 25 out of 25. Now speed, that's where we're going to bring it down a little bit. We're going to give it a 15 out of 20 because it did take us 2 tries to get to what I think were actually good, useful. UX and control, we're going to give it a 15 out of 15. In terms of in-session memory, we're just going to give it a 10 out of 10 because it followed. So Grok, accuracy and fidelity to instructions, we're going to say 30 out of 30. Usefulness and actionability, I think this is going to be my worst performing one. We're going to give it a 10 out of 25 because I'm going to be honest, I would not personally probably use any of these titles. Speed to first useful draft, 5 out of 20. I don't really think it's giving me a very useful draft, to be honest. I don't think it's doing a good job with titles at all. UX and control, 15 out of 15. In session memory, 10 out of 10. Yo, real quick, I promise it'll only take a second, but if you love these AI videos and you want to see the other side of my life, fatherhood vlogs, gaming sessions with my son, opening up Pokemon cards with him, crazy adventures, and just behind the scenes chaos, then you've got to check out my personal channel. Honestly, if you think that AI is crazy, wait till you see my real life as a single father. All right, the link's down below. Come hang out. And then we have Quen. We're going to do accuracy and fidelity to instructions. I think the accuracy is good. I think it did a good job. It did not follow instructions very well. I'm going to give it a 20 out of 30. For usefulness and actionability, I think you can use these titles. I'm going to say 25 out of 25. Speed to first useful draft, we're going to say 20 out of 20. UX and control, I don't love the UX. So we're going to give it just a 10 out of 15. For in-session memory, memory, 10 out of 10. All right, so now what we're gonna do is in the same exact chat, we're gonna say, you are my YouTube producer. Draft an 8 to 10 minute outline for this video. Include a 15-second cold open hook, scene beats with time targets, where to place pattern interrupts every 45 to 75 seconds, suggested B-roll and on-screen text moments, end with a short CTA, no M dashes. So usefulness and actionability. I like the pattern interrupts it gave. We're gonna give it a 30 out of 30. In terms of usefulness and actionability, we're gonna give it a 20 out of 25 for usefulness. Speed to first useful draft, we're gonna say 20 out of 20. UX and control, actually, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 15. I think it could be better, the UX. In session memory, I mean, it did what we needed it to do. So we're gonna say 10 out of 10, and then we're gonna go to Claude next. Accuracy, fidelity to questions, so we'll give it a 30 out of 30. Usefulness and actionability, I would actually say this is worse than ChatGPT, so I'm gonna give it a 15 out of 25. Speed to first useful draft, I'm gonna give it a 15 out of 20. I don't know that this is useful right off the start. So I'm actually gonna rank it higher on the UX side of things and give it a 15 out of 15 for that. I like this setup. I mean, it's clean. It uses larger headings where it needs to, bolds where it needs to use them. In session memory, 10 out of 10. Next we have Gemini. And we're gonna say a 30 out of 30 for accuracy and fidelity to instructions. Usefulness, I think this is super useful right off the bat. So we're gonna give it a full 25 out of 25. Speed, it gets a 20 out of 20. UX and control, I like that it's in its own separate window. So we're gonna say 15 out of 15 for the UX and a 10 out of 10 for the memory. I don't see no problems there. All right, Grok, 30 out of 30. It followed it. Accuracy. Useful and actionable, I don't think this is really useful. I'm sorry, I'm gonna give it a 10. And for speed to first useful draft, we're gonna give it a 15 out of 20. I mean, the second try, it got something that I think is useful as a first draft. UX and control, I actually think this is probably my least favorite. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 15. In terms of in-session memory, well, it does use some M dashes actually. It forgot about that. We're gonna say a 5. Next we have Quen. Accuracy, following instructions. I said no M dashes again specifically. It used them again. So we're gonna do 25 out of 30. Usefulness and actionability. I mean, I think it's good. I think it's useful. Again, it's leaning not in my style. I would say a 20 out of 25. Speed to first useful draft. I mean, I think the first draft was useful. You could use the first draft and tweak it and be good. UX, I don't love the way it's set up, but I don't think it's horrible. I still think Gemini did the best. 10 out of 15 for UX. And in session memory, we're gonna say 10 out of 10. It's not following instructions, but it's remembering. Okay, so what we're gonna do for task 3 is we're actually gonna summarize a YouTube video. So we're actually gonna go ahead and grab the transcript from the YouTube video. And this is from a YouTuber named Matt Wolf, who is an excellent resource in the AI space. But we're actually gonna take his latest AI news video, and that's what we're gonna paste in. What this one's going to do is we're just gonna say, summarize the YouTube video below in 5 crisp bullets that preserve key claims and numbers, then give 3 concrete actions a solo creator should take this week, flag any uncertainty, no M dashes, and then we give it the entire transcript. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna hit enter. Okay. So cool. It did a good job. I think ChatGPT did a great job. Accuracy and fidelity, 30 out of 30. Usefulness and actionability, 25 out of 25. Speed to first useful, 20 out of 20. UX and control, I love this way how it laid it out. I think a 15 out of 15. Memory, 10 out of 10. Next, let's take a look. So accuracy and fidelity of instructions, it did exactly what I asked for. I think ChatGPT just did a better job. Usefulness and actionability, I like it, but I do think ChatGPT did a better job. Speed to first useful draft, 20 out of 20. UX and control, it's set up a little bit better. Overall, I mean, it's good. I don't have no problem with it, I guess. So 15 out of 15. In session memory, 10 out of 10, no issues there. And let's go over to Gemini. Again, it did what I wanted, followed the instructions, gave it to me in 3 different sections. Usefulness, while it is useful and I don't have a problem with it, I just do think that ChatGPT went above and beyond. So we're gonna give it a 20 out of 25 for that. Speed to first draft, I think it did fine. UX, I like it, 15 out of 15. And memory control, 10 out of 10. I don't see it causing any problems there. Now we'll do Grok. Okay, it did what I wanted it to do, 30 out of 30. Usefulness, I think 20 out of 25. Speed to first useful draft, 20 out of 20. For the UX, I'm gonna give it 5 minus points on that too, because I can and I'm going to. In session memory, 10 out of 10. We're gonna move on to Quen. I think it did a good job, 30 out of 30. Usefulness and actionability, we're gonna give it a 24 out of 25. Speed to first, 20 out of 20. 15 out of 15. 15, 10 out of 10 for the memory. Okay, and now for our fourth test, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have it rewrite an email for us. So what we're gonna say is rewrite my draft in a friendly, confident tone that keeps the client while resetting scope. Keep it under 140 words, include one sentence that offers a paid path forward, keep my voice direct and human, no corporate buzzwords, no M dashes. ChatGPT, we'll start with. So accuracy and fidelity to instructions. I mean, it did what we asked, so we're gonna give it a 30 out of 30 back. Usefulness, I just don't think it reads well. We gave it a second option. I mean, it's not bad. I just don't think it's anything great. I'm actually gonna give it a 15 out of 25. I really don't think it's that useful. Speed to first useful draft, 15 out of 20 because we're on a second one and we still don't have it. UX and control, 15 out of 15. Memory, it's fine. It's still not doing M dashes. Next we have Claude. I think Claude nailed it on this one. So 25 out of 25 for usefulness and actionability, 20 out of 20 for speed to first useful draft. The UX looks great, easy to read. Session memory, fine, not really a thing here. And now we will go to Gemini. For accuracy and fidelity to instructions, we're gonna give it a 25 out of 30. Usefulness, I mean, I think it's good. So actually we'll give it a 25 out of 25, but we'll give it a little bit of a discount on the speed to usefulness. I think this is great, but I don't think you can send it first draft. UX and control, 15 out of 15. I actually think it did a great job even spacing things out a little bit better. In session memory, 10 out of 10. And then we're gonna go to Grok next. So this one we had to ask it to do it twice. So we're gonna go with the second one. This is much better. There are some M dashes, so we are going to knock off some points for that. So 25 out of 30, but it did overall follow the instructions. Also, usefulness and actionability, I think this is fine. I think it's good to send. I'd have no problem with it. We'll give it a 25 out of 25. Speed, we got to knock it 5 points just like we did Gemini. UX and control, it's fine. In session memory, 10 out of 10. And then we have Quen. So first off, did it follow instructions? No. And it really did a much worse job. It didn't give me the subject back. This wasn't doing what I asked it to do. 20 out of 30. Usefulness and actionability, I'm going to have to give this a bad score for that. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 25. I don't think it's useful. Speed to first useful draft, I'm going to have to give it a 10 out of 20. UX and control, I don't love the way that it gives all these dashes in between each thing. So I'm actually going to dock it this time because specifically for this, I really don't like it. And in session memory, 10 out of 10, it's fine. And then now we're going to have our last task of the day, task 5. And what we're going to do for this one is we're basically just going to have it plan out a 6-hour work block for us as a solo creator with ADHD. Include 3 focus sprints with clear objectives, 1 admin block, 1 cleanup block, and 5-minute movement breaks each hour. Return a numbered checklist with durations and a 1-sentence intention for each block. No M dashes. For the first one, accuracy and fidelity to instruction. I actually think ChatGPT did not follow my instruction. And maybe I didn't, because I said I wanted it to create blocks. I didn't say I needed it to come up with tasks for me. And I did say clear objectives, but the objective is what should I be getting done during that block? And as you can see, all the rest of them did that. It told me main creative task with phone in another room. The intention is attack your hardest task while your brain is fresh and caffeinated. So I'm actually going to give it a 20 out of 30 for that. In terms of usefulness and actionability, I mean, I could use it. I can change the titles and stuff, but I don't think the intentions are great. I'm going to give it a 20 out of 25. Time to first use for whatever, 15 out of 20, we'll say. UX and control, we're going to say 10 out of 15 as well. In session memory, no problem, 10 out of 10. So Claude, I think it did exactly what I asked. For me, a perfect 30 out of 30. Usefulness, actionability, same thing. It lets me know exactly what I need to do to get going. Speed to first draft, I mean, 20 out of 20. UX, I love how it looks and everything and how it functions. No problems there. In session memory, it's fine. And for Gemini, I will say I did tell it I wanted a 5-minute break every hour. This 90-minute sprint might be better. I don't know. I did ask for at least 1 per hour and it did not give that to me. So we got to mark it down just a little bit, but I think it's close. So we're just going to give it a 5-minute mark, 25 out of 30. For usefulness, actionability, I think it did a great job like Claude. Speed to first useful draft, I could use this right off the start. UX and control, I think it looks fine. Next we have Grok. So I'm going to give it 1 mark because it didn't give me for instructions right off the bat. For usefulness though, I'm going to give it a 25 out of 25. It gave me something useful, but we are going to penalize it the 5 points for the speed because I had to take 2 prompts to get us there. UX and control, so then we'll give it a 10 out of 10 for that. For the memory, and last we have Quen. Okay, so it did do a good job here. Scripted, it did M dashes though, that's it. Actually, we're going to give it a 20 out of 30. For usefulness, we're going to say 25 out of 25. I think this is a useful one. Speed, first drafted, got it, 20 out of 20. UX, actually, I think it did a good job on this. I'm going to give it 15 out of 15. Memory, 10 out of 10. So we ended up with Claude having 6 points, Gemini having 5 points, ChatGPT having 3 points, Grok and Quen both tying for last place with 1 point each. Based on the test today, Claude beat ChatGPT and Gemini, but even more surprising to me is that both Claude and Gemini beat ChatGPT. And what I've noticed to add on top of these 5 tests here at the end, over the last, I would say, month, is I find myself going away from ChatGPT more and more to, surprisingly, Claude and Gemini. You can see the top 2 text ones are actually Gemini and Claude. And ChatGPT 5 High is actually down here, even just slightly, I mean, while they're all very close, even just slightly behind their older O3 model. Of course, each model has its own weaknesses and its own strengths. ChatGPT 5 was first to the scene. A lot of people went with ChatGPT and now are kind of stuck on ChatGPT. So if anything, maybe this video just will inspire you to run your own tests and maybe give some of these other models another chance, because they've caught up and, in my opinion, might have even surpassed ChatGPT. If you guys did not see my last AI video, make sure you click on it right here and check it out. You guys will love it, I promise.